Okay, today we're going to be talking about polynomials, and we're going to be classifying them, and then we're going to be doing some operations with polynomials. So first, let's talk about what is a polynomial function. A polynomial is a monomial, which is one term, or the sum of polynomials, which means multiple terms. Okay, so this says polynomial is one term or multiple terms with the exponents of the variable. Oops, forgot the E. Okay, the exponents of the variable as whole numbers and coefficients are all real numbers. Okay, so what in the world does that mean? Okay, so it means that a polynomial, if you can look at this little box right here, can have constants, it can have variables and exponents, but it can never have division by a variable. So there's a couple of things that polynomials are and then some that are not. So let's kind of go through these a little bit. So to be a polynomial, you have no negative exponents. So nothing like x to the negative 2. That's not allowed. That's not considered a polynomial. Another stipulation is no fractional exponents. So that's like this, x to the 1/2, or even if it was like x to the 0.02, anything like that, that is not considered a polynomial. So we can say no fractions or decimal exponents. Okay, so another thing is there's no variables in exponents. So nothing like this, 4 to the x. Okay, so no negative in exponents, no fraction or decimal exponents, and no variables in the exponents. Okay, so look, here's a bunch of examples here of what it can and cannot be. So there cannot be any division and variables in the denominator. So if you look at something like this where it has to the negative 2, remember those negatives really go to the bottom and it becomes 3xy squared. So you're going to have a variable in the denominator at that time. Okay, so let's look at these examples and let's say, okay, is it a polynomial? Yes or no? So let's look through this. So let's go term by term, okay? So is there fractions, decimals, negatives, or variables in the numerator, in the exponent? Okay, so this is good. This is fine. This one's fine. So this would be yes, it's a polynomial. Okay, let's look at B. Okay, x to the 4th. Sure, that's allowed. 3x, that's allowed. 2x squared, that's allowed. Uh-oh, but this one's not. Why is this not allowed? Whoa. Because it's got this variable in the numerator. So this is a, in the numerator, in the exponent. So this is a no. Okay, let's look at C. All right, I see 6x to the fourth. That's fine. Okay, so here's the problem on this next one. You can't have any negatives, so that's a no. This would be fine, but if one of them's a no, then that means the whole thing is not a polynomial. Okay, let's look at this. Negative 0.5x. Sure, that's okay. Okay, pi x squared. That's okay. Okay, so here's a problem here. We can't have this square root right here, because if we rewrote this, we could rewrite it as x to the 1/2, which is like a no-no. We're not allowed to have that. So here's the problem on this one, this x squared. So this would be a no. So let's go to our pink sheet. Let's kind of write this down of what is okay and what's not okay for a polynomial. So let's go to our pink sheet. So far we've given this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put another line here so it can distinguish between what we did last time and what we're going to do this time. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, okay, well, polynomials. Maybe I'll write this a little bit neater. Okay, polynomials. Okay, so this is kind of classifying them. So I would say polynomials, no negative exponents, no fractional / decimal exponents, and no variables. As exponents. Okay, so we're going to add to this a lot today. So have this out ready to go. So far, polynomials, no negative exponents, no fractional, decimal exponents, no variable as exponents. Okay, I have also posted this on Google Classroom, so you guys can make sure that yours looks similar to mine if you want to. Yours can look very different, but remember, it just cannot have any examples on it. So let's go back to our notes. Okay, let's talk about one of polynomials in standard form. Okay, it's in standard form when they are ordered from left to right in descending, well, let's say decreasing order. Okay, which means from the largest exponent to the smallest. So it's decreasing, it's descending order. Okay, so when they're talking about the degree is the largest exponent in the polynomial. Okay, it determines the number of possible zeros. Okay, so let's remind ourselves what are other names for zeros. Remember, it's solutions. These are interchangeable roots and x-intercepts. So remember, we can just interchange those words and they mean the same thing. Okay, so let's look at this one. First, determine what is your largest degree. What is your largest exponent? So our largest exponent is 2, so the degree is 2. Okay, So we could rewrite this. However, this is in standard form. How would we write this in standard form? Remember, we start with the largest. So that'd be negative 4x squared minus 7x plus 9. So start with your largest and then descend from there. Let's just do a side example just to make sure that we're all on the same track. What if we had something like 7x to the fourth, I'm just making this up, plus 5x to the third minus 6x to the fifth? What if we had something like that? Well, what I would suggest is write it in standard form first. So what's your highest exponent? Well, hopefully you would say negative 6x to the fifth. So that one goes first. So you reorder them based on your largest exponent. So then you go from there. So after 5 comes x to the fourth, and then x to the third. And so then what is the degree of this polynomial? Well, remember, it goes to the highest degree. So your degree here would be 5. Okay, so we're going to have to classify some of these to be able to kind of name them later. So we're going to do this, but I want to go ahead and I want to go to the pink sheet. Let's classify based on the pink sheet because we're just going to have to rewrite this anyway. So when you're saying classifying, let's go back here. Maybe we can, I'm going to put a line over here. And I'm going to say classifying. Okay, so classifying. So in here, we're going to have, if you have something x to the 0. Okay, x to the 0 really is, what is x to the 0? That's just a variable of 1, right? Not a variable, a number of 1. So it has no variable because anything to the 0 powers, none. So this is called a constant. Okay? So if we get a chart thing going here. Okay, so x to the first, it's called a linear. So think of anything that has a 1, think of a line, linear. Okay, x squared is a quadratic. We spent a lot of time on quadratics last unit. Okay, anything to the third is cubic. Into the fourth is quartic. And anything above that, we just say 5th degree, 6th degree, and so on. Let's go ahead and put an example. We would say 5th degree. And then so on. Because after that, there's probably names out there, but it's just not worth doing.